This town of Eureka Springs, Arkansas is probably one of the most haunted towns in America. It's most noted for the Crescent Hotel and the Basin Park Hotel. But what a lot of people don't know about this limestone town is that there's more history than meets the eye, and we're standing in it. Tonight we're investigating the haunted tours in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
My name is Steve Arnold, and this is where we run our business. This is Haunted Eureka Springs in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. We've been doing ghost tours. We're into our 7th year now. The town has a lot to offer, and one of the things that we have is underground tunnels, what we affectionately call the Catacombs. So I've been hunting meteorites, rocks that fall out of the sky, for over half my life. And several years back, I did a television series called Meteorite Men. I was a host, me and my buddy Jeff. We used to fly all around the world chasing meteorites, digging them up. They had these TV crews following us around, and they made episodes of our adventures. And we did that for 3 years. When we found out we were not getting a 4th season, I decided to move to little Eureka Springs and open the only brick and mortar meteorite store in America. I quickly learned why there are no other brick and mortar meteorite stores in America. But moving to town was fun, got to meet a lot of Eurekans, and it just seemed like everyone had a ghost story. Paranormal, reoccurring things would happen where they lived, where they worked, on the way to and from work. And there was a group of us 7 years ago that got together. We started researching some of these stories, debunking some things, digging a little deeper. And yeah, we ended up finding enough compelling, entertaining information to present to the tourists. We're a small town of about 2,000 people, but we will get 750,000 people come in as tourists a year. And so, of course, ghost hunting and ghost stories are a growing, more popular thing. And so there's not a lot to do in town, so we fashioned some of those stories into a tour. And so that has progressed and has taken different directions over the years. But one of the things that's talked about and kind of urban legend are our underground tunnels. And so we feature that kind of as the finale of the tour. It's not all about the tour, the underground tunnels, but it is a big part of it.
The catacombs date back as early as the town's founding, but this section of the underground holds a dark and deadly past.
Where we're located here, originally the first was the Silver Hotel. It was built in 1879. Now our town went from 0 people, like nobody, miles from here, to close to 20,000 people in less than 2 years. It exploded. We were the 2nd largest city in Arkansas. And so there was a tremendous boom. In the very first year, the Silver Hotel was built on this piece of property. In 1888, it burned. We've had 3 major fires in town, and the largest one took out 490 buildings in one night, and the Silver Hotel was one of those. We don't know for sure if anyone died here during the fire. It's very possible, but we do know that a lot of people did die here in the hotel during the 8 or 9 years it ran as a hotel. In 1899, Dr. Ellis bought the property, and he built the largest limestone building in town that was not a hotel. And in 1931, this building caught on fire, and there The firemen rushed down here. Their first priority were the tenants in the apartments on the top floor. They got everyone out safely. Third floor, street level on Spring, was retail. Nobody was in. It was nighttime. This second floor was Dr. Ellis's doctor's offices. And Dr. Ellis was in the building at the time. He was in his mid-70s. The firemen got in here. They got him out of here safely. He's up on Spring Street watching the inferno engulfing the building when one of the firemen notified him that his pet dog, or as the newspaper said, his faithful companion, had not made it out of the flames. And when Dr. Ellis heard that news, he suffered a massive heart attack, fell to the ground, dead. Now, Dr. Ellis is one of the 5 men ghosts seen up at the Crescent Hotel. He was their house physician for their first 25 years. The mansion across the street was Dr. Ellis's home, and it's been featured in various shows. So it's probably our most famous haunted house as far as publicity goes. And then this was his place where he spent much of his life, of his practice here, and died here. In 1979, this crude structure was put up. It was originally a patio upstairs, open air pizza kitchen down here. And, as a tourist town, a lot of these places turn over for various purposes over the years. And one of the great things, though, is there is the original limestone structure and as a foundation, and a lot of the buildings along our streets have doors that go into the underground tunnels. All joking aside, everybody wanted one of these growing up, right?
Hell yes. Except for the Conjuring family. I'm sure they regret it.
Let me grab my lantern. And watch the cobwebs, they are real.
So this part of the wall, this side here, this is the retaining wall, and this was the building?
Yep. So there's a foundation wall for the, at least the Dr. Ellis building. It might have been the foundation wall for the Silver Hotel as well. But so the arches, you can see where the slats were. They were formed in an arch, which allows the water to coalesce all along the bottom of the arches, and then lets the stalactites form. Yeah, that can be some
char on that.
Trigger object
so old,
stuff
it just
there.
like
Yeah.
mushes down. That's definitely charred out. Not there.
We have had some interesting things happen, and they're really sporadic. So we have the building, and then we have the tunnels. And the tunnels, the corridor, a lot of nefarious things have been used. And when you're in there, it doesn't really take much of an imagination. There's unusual things. Every once in a while, we'll hear like a pool ball. It sounds like a pool ball going off the table and hitting and bang, 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 and then rolling across the floor. They don't have a pool table up there anymore. 2 years ago, on January 6th, 2020, I was doing a tour, and we do some work with pendulums on our tour. And it was winter. There were just one couple, 2 people came in, and we came in, and we started hearing a beep, beep, beep on like a phone being, a cell phone being dialed. And I thought it was just button dialing at first. And I looked over and we have a phone that has a FLIR camera built into it. And it's not hooked, it's an AT&T phone, but it's not hooked up to cell service. But we keep it plugged in all the time because we want the, we use the infrared on ghost hunts and whatnot. And that runs the batteries down really fast. It's a very high energy device. And so we always keep it charged up. And it was plugged in and the screen was on and the phone is sitting there dialing itself. And then the cursor would move and then it would delete some numbers and it would add. And when that happened, I was like, okay, I got it. I got to record this, So I pulled my phone out and it went through my head. Do I go on Facebook Live or do I record this? Now, you go live, you can't edit it, right? I mean, you can throw it away, but you can't edit it. But if you record it, you could edit it or whatever, but then people start calling BS on you because they think you edited out the video. So I went Facebook Live. No. Whoa, what did it say? It said something. 20205. All right, so the phone is dialing itself. It did this for about 5 minutes and then it hit the green button to dial the number. Now, even though the phone wasn't hooked up to cell service, it still can push out an emergency number. And so the screen popped up and it said, this is not an valid emergency number. And then OK was the only button to push and nothing happened. And I'm going, OK, Ghost, hit OK, hit OK, and nothing happens. So I hit the OK and it goes back to the original screen with this series of numbers up there. And it just, nothing happened. There's just various creepy things that happen. There's a section of the tunnel that we think someone was killed there. I mean, there's some dark feelings there.
While it's only speculation that anyone died in the fires, an incident in the 1920s could provide another clue to the hauntings.
It was 1922, middle of the roaring 20s, prosperous time in America, prosperous here in Eureka. The businesses made some good money. There was a group out of Oklahoma, the Henry Starr gang, wanted to rob the bank. Henry Starr had been killed in a botched bank robbery 1 county over in Harrison. So his gang had pretty much been killed off or incarcerated. There were 3 guys left. They recruited 2 guys to help them, the 5 that came here. They decided to rob the bank. They decided to rob it over the lunch hour, and when there would only be one teller in, everyone else was to lunch from the bank, and they showed up an hour early. It turned out daylight savings time was a couple days before, and they didn't move their clock, so they show up at 12:05, and it's really 11:05, and the bank's full of people. And there's kind of a humorous scenario of kind of the America's stupidest criminals. It would be a good episode for that. Anyway, they had some hostages. The local town people got word of it. The silent alarm was put off. They came out in the street. The locals shot them down in the street, killed 3 of the 5 bank robbers, and the other 2 were arrested. And so big news, famous, as far as New York Times type of news. I mean, the little town who shot up and killed the bank robbers. It was a very feel-good story from the media of the day. And so that's that's the short version of that story. And so that happened right across the street. 2 of the bank robbers were killed in the street and 1 in the stairwell.
Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to set up the millimeter. I'm going to set it up for record, and we're going to place it we're going to place it in the Catacombs, and then we're just going to let it sit there and record. And then I have the EDI Plus that I'm going to be setting in here and monitoring that, and we'll see if anything happens with it. It's going to be a recording. I'm going to record audio with it at the exact same time so I can sync it all up. So let's go place this first. Right now I've got 0 for the EMF and 53 degrees in here. Let's watch our step. Surprisingly, the IR is not being eaten up by the limestone. So these windows right here are original to the Ellis structure, the building that Ellis was in when it burned. So I'm going to place the millimeter right in there, right on top of that, and we'll hit record once it settles. Set it like so. The first problem we're running into is that there's a bar upstairs that has people in it, and they are still open at this point. All right, so I'm going to sync up the recorder with the EDI Plus to record on here and here. All right, so we're going to have the estimated time is 9:17, Monday, January 17th. We are in the Catacomb area, well, close to it. We're at the Eureka Springs tour, just outside of the Catacombs. If there's anybody here that can hear my voice, I'm inviting you to come towards it. I'd like to talk to you. Maybe you can show yourself to me. I need to have a physical sign of your presence. I need to see something, because hearing things is not going to cut it. So because everybody upstairs is being so noisy, I think it's probably going to be best for me to do like a spirit box session. I can't capture good audio right now, just using a digital recorder. So I've still got the meter going right here. Next to it is an audio recorder, just in case, and we can correlate that with everything. I've got a DVR system set up too. See the monitor, I've got a couple cameras running. So yeah, that's going to be what we're going to do. We're going to grab the spirit box and do a spirit box session. So I'm reaching out to Dr. Ellis, or anybody else that might be in this building. I'd like to come down here and speak to me. In my hand I have a device in which you can do so. You just got to manipulate the frequencies. Easier said than done. If you can you come down here and tell me your name? If you're the person that the skull belongs to, can you tell me your name, please? You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm not a ghost. I'm here to help. Can you shut this door or come say something? It's got an EMF spike. Oh, temperature drop. If you just lit that blue light up, can you do that again? Yeah, I'll come sit down. Can you do that again? Can you make the lights light up on that? Thank you.
Within a 2-minute span, I received 2 EMF hits. At the time, I didn't feel it was a big deal, but later analysis showed something interesting, which I will show you, the audience, a little later.
Okay, so we're not getting anything on the PSP7. Now here, we're going to go in the back of the Catacombs where it said that people have felt a negative energy. They don't want to say it's evil or anything like that, but there's been a negative feeling back there that they just can't quite explain. So we're going to set up back there and we're going to run the PSP7. I'm going to leave this out here. To be monitored. There we are. So we're going to go ahead and do the PSP7 here. Alright, if there's anybody back here who can hear my voice, my name is David. I'm not here to scare you, harm you, hurt you in any way. I have come to speak with you if you are willing to speak to me. So if you could, this device I have in my hand you can talk to, or use it to talk to me. Maybe you can say your name for me, please. That was weird, I saw a flash in the camera. Whoever's down there, can you come this way and tell me your name? If there's somebody down here, what year did you live here? The men who robbed the bank, can you tell me their names? I'm not here to scare you. I just want to talk to you. Do you know that people don't know you exist? I'm seeing movement down there. I hope it's picking up on that. But I'm seeing something move down there. I'm seeing movement. I don't know what it is. Seems to be a lighter color though. Hey, whoever's down there. Tell me your name. Can you tell me what town we're in? I'm lost. So the weird thing about this place is, like, in the dark, like everywhere I turn, I feel like I'm seeing somebody out of the corner of my eyes, and I don't know if it's like just a play on the walls here. But I was getting pretty, I don't know, some weird feelings over here in this area. Like, I'm getting the chills, like goosebumps. Like, so if I was talking to you earlier and you're hearing me, if you're down there, can you stomp on the ground? Stomp around? That was me. Were you one of the bank robbers? Did you get shot? That's my stomach. Could have sworn I heard something. Hopefully picked up on the audio. Do you want me to come down that way? If not, start stomping around. I do have to get John involved here. I think he needs to give this a go. So I have John on the phone right now. He's going to do an EVP session over the phone. He is video streaming, so we'll get to see him and we'll get to see what he's looking at as he's streaming. And I'm going to leave this camera running back here also, just in case. And hopefully we pick up something.
For about 30 minutes, John conducted a phone-in session, but once again, the audio suffered from noise contamination. I then tried using Steve, basically as bait, to see if any activity would stir up. Unfortunately, all was relatively quiet, and shortly after, I decided to wrap up. When analyzing the data from the 2 EMF hits, I noticed something peculiar. Each hit had an initial spike of 1.7 milligauss, and both hits seemed to take 20 seconds to dissipate. If this were caused by an electrical surge at 1 minute apart, I would expect to have seen more spikes in the 40 minutes that the EDI was in that spot. This has the makings of a new theory, but further testing and analysis must be done. I will continue this process with the next investigation. The tours in Catacombs provide an amazing look into Eureka Springs' past. It's not always ghosts that haunt a location, but sometimes it's the memories and remnants of the past lives that give it a haunting history.